Alrighty, it's your boy Zxous, and we're back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. And in today's video, we're going to be using the new buffed guillotine against the special individual Modernia boss. Now, obviously, we all know she got a buff recently. I am going to be doing showcase on her and Mary, like against all these special interception bosses. Because I think we can all agree, right? Even if Nikke doesn't make these old characters like the new best characters in the game, I think Nikke does a great job at buffing up these characters. And definitely let me know in the comments if you guys agree or not, right? I think they do a good job at buffing these characters, making it usable, right? Guillotine was a character nobody was using before because she was just not good enough. But now they buffed her up, even a minor buff, right? They kind of just like changed her buff a little, right? They took it from 0.2% all the way to 0.96% or 94%. Actually, I have it up here. Let's take a look. So before, right, this used to be 100 normal attacks, now went up to 30. That's good, right? Because 30 times 3 is still 90, which would still be less than the 100. So before, you would have the 100 shots to get this buff going off once. Now 3 times over you're getting it. You can have this go off 3 times over before you can even get to 100, which used to be the old buff, right? Or the old number, but now it's 30 normal attacks, right? Which is very good. Now this wasn't a crazy like buff, right? From 14.46 to 14.94 wasn't a major. It only went up by what, like 3%. I think it was supposed to be 64 though, not 94. I don't know if they messed up there. I think it was supposed to be 64. I don't know. But even if it was, that's like, it was a little buff regardless. But, and then this was a kind of a massive buff here, right? Kind of big, right? Because essentially 0.96% is almost 1%, right? So essentially it would be, basically for every 1% HP you lost, you would gain 1% attack damage, right? Which makes this character quite useful because let's say you lose 90% of her HP. Right now you have a 90% attack buff, right? And when you have overload gear and stuff for a character like that, it's going to actually like multiply into a buff like that, right? So let's take a look, right? Let's take a look and see how well she does here. My team was Senti, Dorothy, D, Modernia, and Guillotine, right? Right, my Guillotine is not really built like that. Obviously, we're gonna compare her to Modernia in terms of damage here. Let's spam D's ultimate so we can get the core going, right? And if you notice, you're actually gonna know that Guillotine's HP is going down quite quickly, right? It's going down not like the fastest, but by the time we get to her first burst skill, which is what we're going to be, or I guess we won't get to her burst skill until like the 3rd time, right? Because we started off with D's burst skill, right? But by the time we get to her burst skill, because she's the 3rd character we're using for the burst, she will be at half HP, hopefully, right? And like I said, Modernia could also help getting her HP quite low. The only problem I have with a Guillotine, or just a character like this in general, right, is that the lower their HP is, the stronger they get. That's definitely not something, oh, we're past 50% HP there, so we did nice damage there. And we can actually see, right, what's the numbers from her? 4 million right now. Okay, she's just like she's getting lower and lower as we go, right? And if Modernia decides to attack her, it would be better. But let's just see. Oh, I pressed tab, not escape there, right? So you can see, remember, the lower her HP is going, the higher she is doing. Now my Guillotine actually is getting only a 0.41% attack buff for every 1% HP loss, but we're already past 50%. And remember, when your HP is below 50%, they will double damage right on your ultimate, right? Which is nice, especially if you get all her skills level 10. Like Guillotine is going to be hitting quite hard, right? So definitely keep that all in mind, right? Yeah, she can perform, right? She's not the best character in the game, but now she's definitely usable, right? At least a lot more usable than what she was before, I will say. So that's what I like about Nikke, these buffs, right? Because the same thing happened with Solene. Solene was a character that was like one of the worst characters in the game, and now look at her, right? Gonna be one of the better units in the game, right? The only like con I would really say Guillotine has is the simple fact that right, after, like, it takes a while for her to lose her HP by herself, right? So there's like events and content, like for example, Chatterbox is a good example. Chatterbox is a boss where if you put Guillotine in the middle, she will automatically start her HP off with less than 50% if you willingly take the hit, which is good, but that's not all content, right? So in a lot of content, she's not going to be used for like PvP. They're going to get her HP low quickly, but she probably will just die, especially since she's taking her own HP. Actually, I didn't even check the final damage there. Let's redo that. Oh my god. I didn't even check the final damage there. Okay. I didn't even check the final damage. Let's redo that. It's fine. But yeah, literally, like, let's see if we, this time around, we can get it to a point where, I mean, we don't even have to use these ultimate, right? Like, let's not use these ultimate, because, right, the core is just gonna break easily regardless, right? At this point in time, we're, like, in a position where, like, we don't need, like, D to, like, cheese Modernia. We can just beat it without D at this point in time, right? Let me just break some of these, right? And then go for the core. Come on, y'all, break it, and broken. Literally. So now, these use, or not, the Guillotines used their ultimate, but she was above 50% HP, right? I just want Modernia to, like, shoot Guillotine, though. Right? Kind of just shoot Guillotine with her rockets here, but... Okay, wrong character. Maybe what's the 9. But now Guillotine's in a position where if she gets hit by those bombs from Modernia, she will die guaranteed. Right? So literally the only thing like I want Modernia to do is attack her with the her like little shots here, right? Her gun or whatever. I don't know what weapon. I guess machine gun it would be. Right, but let's see the damage. 5 million right now, and Modernia is at 12 million. I'm comparing it to Modernia, obviously, just to see, like, because realistically, we're using Modernia. People are using Modernia or Scarlet for their main. Okay, she died. But still, it's like almost half, right? 6 million, 14 million, right? I compare it to Modernia a lot for these showcase because Modernia and Scarlet are characters people are using as their main DPS, right? So to see how a character can fare in terms of damage, like my Modernia is completely built, right? Level 10 skills, I think max attraction of what she's able to get to for attraction, right? And then she doesn't have full overload gear though, so I wouldn't say completely built, but she does have overload gear. Where my Guillotine doesn't have none of this, right? It doesn't even have attraction level. So if Guillotine is doing close to Modernia, even just half the damage of Modernia with like completely less investment, I would find that quite good because it's like, again, I expect Modernia to hit very hard, but Guillotine, I'm not expecting Guillotine to hit that hard, if that makes sense, right? We have no healer, just because we do not want a healer when using this character, realistically, right? We don't want a healer when using Guillotine. Because another thing about Guillotine that I never mentioned in this video is that if you increase her HP, she loses her buffs, right? Not her buffs, but like their damage will get weaker. The more HP she has, the weaker she gets. The lower HP she has, the stronger she gets. Think about it like that. It's not like Scarlet's where you could constantly heal her, but she will always have the attack buff. That's the thing. That's why I call her a hand-me-down version of Scarlet, right? Because Scarlet, at the end of the day, she is losing HP too, and she's getting stronger with it. But if I heal up Scarlet, right? If I heal up Scarlet, she will still have her attack buff. Where Guillotine, if I heal her up, she's not gonna have it. Like, she will still have it, but it will be weak. And if she passes 70%, she just loses it completely. So it's definitely something that you don't want to really mess with. But what I do like is when you do get past 70%, you do start off with a 30%, not 30%, but like depending on your levels, like let's say a 20, let's say if she was at level 10 skills, right? You would be from a 20 to 30% range of an attack buff guaranteed off rip when you get to that 70%, because you already lost 30% of your HP, right? So it's pretty good, right? But you can kind of see, right? We're gonna look at the damage output here in a second. From all of these characters. This was without these ultimates, so we had like a fair amount with Modernia. Well, technically Modernia got the last ult off, but let's take a look at her damage number here, right? And see if it's like, if I would say it's good, right? I would say she's definitely usable, right? I don't mind using Guillotine for my main Modernia team. If you can see, we clear it, right? But Modernia did 21 million, Guillotine did 10.5 million, right? Guillotine did more than my D, and D is meant for this boss. Like, D's whole kit is meant for this boss in terms of strong damage and all that stuff. Now, did we use D's ultimate? No. But I believe D starts off with that massive buff when the boss appears out every time you enter a full burst. So, right, the only thing that D gets is the damage dealt, like the damage to enemy parts, but everybody gets that as well. So I don't know if anything would have really changed there. But again, 21 million from Modernia and then 10.5 million from Guillotine is not bad. That's almost half, right? Which is pretty good. Like I said, Guillotine was a character who was not doing that type of numbers before her buff. So I do think Guillotine's buff is pretty nice. Is she, again, the best character in the game? No. And I don't expect them to ever buff a character to make the new best character in the game. But I do like how they're buffing it and making these characters usable, right? I can bring Guillotine on my teams now and she won't be a letdown. She won't be like, you know, she's still technically a liability because her HP is going down, and like, you know what I mean? But she won't be like useless on the team. She's at least putting in the work, right? So you guys let me know what you think. I think Guillotine's buff is quite unique. I think it's quite nice. Again, I would call it the hand-me-down version of Scarlet, but you guys let me know what you think, and definitely let me know if you guys agree with my statement at the beginning of the video, if you guys like how Nikke has been buffing characters, and if these buffs are actually useful and actually implementing or affecting the game, right? Impacting the game in such a way. So yeah, it's your boy Zxous. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out later. Peace.